Hello friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Welcome again to my CISSP YouTube channel. What we have covered so far is significant. We have covered domain 1 and domain 2, and I do apologize about my video format, video quality, which is continuously going through and it's a phase of improvement, ups and down. So you might not get a consistent video output, but anyway, I have delivered the best of in the best of my effort whatever content I wanted to discuss, and those discussions were centered around forming a mental map of the topics, definitions and key concepts. I hope this has been useful to you and you are enjoying the series if you are watching it from the very first episode 1 in domain 1. Now whatever we have kind of covered in domain 1 and domain 2 is, if I have to summarize it in a sentence, I will say that the entire domain 1 and domain 2, we have discussed three distinct phases of security. One is security principles, then we have discussed security policy, and then we have discussed security governance. So what are principles, what are the policies, and how we govern it, right? So these three aspects are the predominant theme of domain 1, wherein in domain 2 we have discussed how we apply the principles and policies and how we execute these principles of policies in the form of governance to secure an asset, right? It could be a hardware asset or a software asset or any data or any reputation, tangible, intangible, you name it. So this was what we have covered so far. We have covered what are the principles, and if you want to correlate these things in your day-to-day life, you can see what you have studied in your science and technology in your school days or in college engineering, that principles are the underlying truth of this nature, right? We call the principles, and these principles govern certain physical laws we see around, physical or chemical or whatever you see. For an example, you see that there is a law of gravitation. So the law of gravitation is ruled by certain fundamental characteristic of matter which exist in the form of some principle, and this principle say that two massive objects attract each other. So this is a principle. Now on this principle there is a natural law which is the law of gravity, right? So we have principle, then we have laws, which we can say in information security domain we say these laws as policies, principles and policies. Then governance is how we execute those policies in a specific environment, right? So this is how we view principle, policy and governance, right? So if you keep this thing in mind, this will enable you to think like a manager, and when you think like a manager, you will get the right context of the question being asked in CISSP exam, and you will be able to answer it correctly. So what we are covering in domain 3 now onwards is bit more technical, and it will be bit more dissection of the underlying technology. As you know that the name of the domain is security architecture and engineering, right? If you just focus on the name, you will see that there are three different words: security, architecture and engineering. So we should know what is security. We already know the goal of security is to tune confidentiality, integrity and availability to a minimum acceptable level, which is defined by the specific need or organization, or regulatory or compliance. Now this is security. What is architecture? Architecture is basically designing a blueprint to suit the specific need of an organization, and engineering is how we deploy it, right? Sound exciting? I think this will be a fun ride, and I hope domain 3 will be more exciting, more engaging than domain 1 and domain 2. I'm not undermining domain 1. Domain 1 is the foundation, is the basement of the entire structure we are going to build. So domain 1 is very important. Business continuity planning, DR planning, this is very important, right? This will be the underlying carrier signal for the whole CISSP syllabus. So it's important. But what I'm saying is domain 3 is going to be more exciting because we will be dealing with technologies, we'll be dissecting technologies, and we'll see that how this technology actually addresses different policies which is founded in certain key principles of information security. I hope to see you again in my first video in domain 3, and I hope it will be exciting, and best of luck for your CISSP exams. Hope to see you again.